work with his hands, and then not have his hands, and then deal with the dilemma of, should I be normal? Because back in the day, freaks would get surgeries to become normal. They would have surgeries, plastic surgery to fix themselves. It's all come out of World War II, that science of plastic surgery. And you could see the dilemma that he was having when I was feeding him soup. And later on, he reveals that it goes back to his lobster claw at the end, and I thought that was a beautiful ending. And it's a great message at the same time. And he's also a lot of fun to feed soup to. Talk about open wide, slurp, slurp, slurp.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I totally forgot about Desiree.
Yeah.
3 boobs?
Yeah.
Duh, sorry. I like 3 boobs. I like 2 boobs.
She's been here for sound check. That's a whole other story.
What happened during sound check?
We were saying instead of doing check, we went to boobs. So.
Oh.
No. You started with penis.
That's right. We started with penis and we moved on to boobs.
Penis has a really good sibilance.
It does. Great resonance.
Oh, my favorite character. Okay, so I was going to say I am not old enough to be in this conversation. I was told. That was way up there. You know, my favorite is Kathy Bates. I mean, I love her and everything that she's ever done. I was a big fan before the show. She's actually the reason why I did the show. You know, so I was just enthralled with her, you know, at every moment. And I've actually had a couple opportunities to work with her on set, and I screwed it up many times because I sat there and went, oh my God, I'm on set with Kathy Bates. This is Kathy Bates. I don't believe it. And then it would be, Rose, you're lying, like, oh, dang it. You know, and then what was really bad was when Kathy knew your line. I was like, oh boy.
She knew everybody's line.
Is it true? Okay, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just made a total idiot of myself. Okay, I know my line now, and, you know, after that. And she used to give me a bad time about, you know, being on set, and she used to give my kids a bad time. I mean, everybody's seen The Water Boy, right? My son's 16, you know, football, going around with football, and she used to always tell Luke, booze balls for the devil. You know? So I finally, you know, told her, can you say that about girls too? So then she would be like, okay, booze ball and girls are for the devil. So I'm like, yes! You know, it didn't work though, because he still has a girlfriend. So, but yeah, she has to be my favorite.
Okay. Who else has a question? Right back there.
What was it like working with Jessica Lange? What was it like working with Jessica Lange? Is that what you asked?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a legend. She's a force. She's so inspiring. I mean, I remember scenes thinking that, and there's an Emmy right there. Just won an Emmy right in front of me. And I got the best seat in the house. Yeah.
Is that ever true? I remember doing the birthday scene, you know, where the freaks come to her and they give her presents and she goes into her rampage. I was so taken aback by that because that was raw emotion. I felt like I was really there. I was experiencing it. I mean, when she was throwing the presents at us and nearly, I mean, knocking us off the table.
Well, she threw me, you remember?
Yeah, she did. I remember
there
that.
There was a scene where she sort of shoved Salty, who was next to me, and I'm a lot littler than I look in that fat suit, and I went flying. And I was on the ground and literally like scabbed up, right? And she continued, and it could, you know, 45 seconds in, and then finally actually broke character and stopped and said, are you okay? And of course I was like, go, like, this is amazing what you're doing. Like,
yeah, I was totally taken aback because she goes through this and she has all this emotion and she has tears, and I'm like, wow, and all of a sudden I have tears because I can just feel it, that emotion. And, you know, then we stop, and then all of a sudden everybody, I mean, cast and crew, stand up and applaud. I was lost, because I'm like, does that mean we're wrapped? What are we doing, you know? And Evan was there, and Evan's like, she killed it. It's like, Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I was able to experience that.
Well, she just makes it so easy for you as an actor, you know, like.
Yeah. It was just so amazing though, because I mean, it was filled with emotion. And it was really emotion. It wasn't pretend emotion. I mean, I really felt her pain and her being upset and angry. And I mean, I wanted to drop and say, I'm so sorry, Elsa, I didn't mean to.
There was one episode where we were literally like every single scene she shot, she had to fall to her knees, her wooden knees, crying. And it was like, how do you just do that every day, you know? Just turn it on, but she does.
It's unbelievable, I mean, talent. She is fabulous. I don't know how else to describe her.
Well then, Erica.
I would say an inimitable talent. I got to work with her in a scene where she has to walk into a progressively tighter shot as she discovers Ma Petite's remains, and she goes, I know, that was a hard scene for me, watching her detail. Because the tighter the shot, the less you can move as the frame gets smaller and smaller and smaller as she gets closer and closer and closer, and you watch her just break down. That was amazing. When I first met Jessica, she came onto the makeup truck and said, "Is that Jessica? Oh my God, don't look, don't make me, okay. I want to look, but I don't want to make her think I'm looking. But, you know, I got to work with her. How do I deal with this? I got a little starstruck, you know." And I think that doesn't go away for a while. I think you just kind of live with it. She's an amazing talent and a legend. And funny as hell. Warm-up exercise she does, I've been doing all my life. And I got to bring it to her attention. My family shamed me for it. And you know, I kind of shake my body and make all kinds of noises with my voice when I warm up and I'm preparing, you know? And I saw her doing that. And I always kept that hidden. She does it on set, you know? And I told her about it. So my family shamed me for doing that. And I thanked her for that. And from now on, I will do that on a regular basis, because I need to be loose when I'm there. Amazing woman. She's sweet as can be. We shared a couple pie recipes. She's an absolute dream to work with.
She's not great, I gotta be honest. She's a bit hacky, a little bit canned, kind of rote, and bossy, super bossy, thanks for that. Now, you know, I mean, I had the opportunity to work with her about 18 years ago in a movie called 1,000 Acres, and then I came back onto the set. And I was already dressed as Twisty, so to be quite honest, I don't know that she recognized me. I mean, it was a weird kind of circumstance, you know, where you're like, hi, I don't know if you remember, but like 18 years ago, we stood on a porch in Iowa, in Illinois, and acted as if we were in Iowa. Anyway, so I'm dressed as a clown now, and it's really nice to see you again. She's obviously a tremendous talent, and I can only speak really of watching the work that she did on this season. And in the first episode, when we were watching the premiere, and we were all watching it at Mann's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on a huge screen, and the Life on Mars sequence begins and then ends. And I'm watching this thing and thinking to myself, okay, I've read this script. I mean, I've acted in this thing, and I had no idea how big this thing is. And then it all points down to this vulnerable moment of kind of fear and emptiness about an aching desire for fame, an aching desire for someone to tell you from the outside that you are loved, no matter how extraordinary you are. And that's what really was like, oh, that's the whole show. In 1 second of time after the end of Life on Mars, she just hands you the entire theme of the show. Not a lot of people can do that. But she's still bossy, by the way. She's just still bossy.
Okay, right here, front row.
John, Twisty was probably one of my favorite characters in the season. And one thing that I thought was one of the really coolest thing is the fact that you go from being prime suspect in Zodiac, and then your first kill is Twisty, is pretty much a recreation of the Napa killings.
The show's title, again, I joined the show in this season, and I really hadn't really, I mean, I paid attention to the cast and paid attention to the members of the cast and Ryan Murphy, but I gave up horror a long time ago. I didn't quite understand why people wanted to be just frightened all the time. I would go to a horror movie and I just finally went, why am I doing this to myself? I don't want to be scared anymore. I think I'll leave. I can actually leave this. I can actually get up and leave. And that's how I felt about most horror movies that I've seen. Good ones, right? Because of course the bad ones, who cares? So, so then I'm watching this show and I'm realizing how grand it all is. And one of the things about the show that it does, it really takes its title very seriously, American Horror Story. The writers and producers of the show do exhaustive research on, once they choose, let's say a subgenre of horror, they do exhaustive research, and you can watch each episode over and over and over and over again and see quotes and quotes of quotes and lifting of entire metaphors, scenes, shots from tons of films. And it's so dense. It's much beyond, like, you know, not a lot of shows have this kind of ambition, right? Not a lot of shows just have this kind of bravado. And this one has it, like, really, and it was really weird. I did Zodiac, and in the film Zodiac, the character of the Zodiac killer was played actually by 3 different people, and I was never one of them. And it was intended to keep the audience guessing, as the detectives do, of who actually is the Zodiac killer. And it works really, really well. So I was never at this scene that shows the first murder of the Zodiac killer at Lake Berryessa. So I've seen the film, and of course I was there to loop the film, and that's when the first time I saw that scene. And then, I don't know how many years later, 5, something like that. It's my first day of work, you know, and we're in a park in New Orleans, and it's super, super hot. And everybody is complaining about how hot it is, and I'm like, hey, try it in distressed silk, okay? Try it now. Try it in a clown costume. See how hot it is for you. And we're working on that scene, and all of a sudden I'm feeling these shots going, these seem really familiar to me. Wait a minute. I was in this movie. I mean, I didn't play this part, but I was in this movie before. This is weird. And man, when you see it, it's straight out, shot by shot. And then to do the Mike Myers Halloween stuff on Halloween, in the Halloween episode, and to step out from behind a tree, like I saw somebody did when I was, I don't know, 14 years old or something like that. You go, holy crap, these people are really busting hump to make sure that all of this dense visual imagery that people who are as obsessed with horror as I imagine most of the people in this room are, it's like a smorgasbord for you guys. I mean, it's like a dense mousse cake that you guys really, I mean, that's awesome. So it was very exciting to watch the process of that happen.
Okay.
Yes, John. Before you took the role of Twisted Clown, like, did they like warn you, saying like about being a psychotic clown, like most actors play psychotic characters end up having some problem?
I don't know if everybody heard the question, and I'll just repeat it really quickly. Did they talk to you about the fact that you would be playing a psychotic clown, and that many times people who play these psychotic characters have psychotic problems later? Am I understanding the question? No, I mean, I want to be clear.
Yeah, because, you know, like the case with Heath Ledger after.
Yes, the case with Heath Ledger with the Joker and emotional problems after doing the part. I mean, I get a call from my manager, and he says, Brian Murphy would like to talk to you. And you go, yeah, okay. Give him my number. So he calls me and says, listen, I've been thinking about you for this part in American Horror Story Freak Show. I want to create the most terrifying clown in the history of television, and I'd like you to play that part. And he described the character. You don't have a lot to say, and you know, I mean, we'd love for you to do it. And there was never any warning label on it. You know, there was never any like, oh, by the way, you may go mad doing this. I found it really surprisingly freeing to play Twisty for many reasons. I mean, I've played sociopaths before. It's certainly something I bring from my own life. I've been sociopathic at different times in my life and had a huge a massive lack of empathy. So, you know, that's something I know. So I'm not really afraid of it anymore. I mean, like, I've done a lot of work around that and I'm not really afraid of it anymore. But the thing is that this guy was, I mean, the operatic nature of the material, the operatic nature of the set itself, and the support, and just like, I don't know about anybody else here, but I'd love to hear the answer to this question, actually. I ran into Dennis O'Hare, who I knew from other things, and we didn't work together in the season, but I said, so how you liking working on this? He goes, it's great. You know, I decided that the character whistled, and I asked Ryan about it, and he said, go for it. Go for it. And that was kind of what, I mean, along with all this research, he has such confidence and trust in your ability to bring about the life of the character. And I didn't think of any single person, no matter what level of experience they brought to this, who didn't have the complete support and trust to just go for it. And so I learned a lot from the first episodes of the show, and I never really felt afraid of the going crazy thing, because I'm already kind of crazy, so that wasn't really a problem. I found the work really, really exhausting and really cool, but I wasn't afraid to go crazy. No, wasn't.